Hello, this is it, the final part of the build, bag number 8. Got all the parts on the table again. I've got the excavator on the floor right now because it's so large that it won't fit on my table while I'm doing this build. I'm going to assemble all of the components that go around the bucket wheel excavator main frame first, and then I'll pull my camera back and I'll stick all the parts onto the main assembly. And then I'll demonstrate all the different motor functions that this set has. So we'll go fairly quickly through the assembly part here just to get it out of the way so we can focus on the motor functions at the end. Now this is just some spotlights. Nice little bit of detail. I gotta keep track of which part goes where, so I'm gonna put them on my table in order from left to right of how they're supposed to be assembled. Okay, that frames in the cab. It's kind of cool. Well, that can rotate. Oh, and that explains why there's a rod down there. That's for this. And what is this gear for? It goes right on there. Oh, the gear is to raise and lower. That's cool. A quick showing of this part we built. It looks like it's like the operator's cab. A little walkway here. And on the back there's a ladder to get in. And there's a gear here that I can turn this and the ladder can be raised or lowered, which is pretty cool. A little bit of functionality in an assembly like this. So I'll set this aside and we'll keep assembling all the miscellaneous parts and we'll add this to the main build later. This is just all handrail. This goes through there, and then this goes on. Well, at least I can move again. That all went together quite nicely, actually. Just go like that. Okay, that just sits there. And the ladders connect into here, just enough room. And all three ladders just snap together. That's the last light. Cool. Okay. I have all the parts assembled. I'll reset my camera and we'll get these parts, and I'll take a picture of them, put into the main assembly, and then we'll test out all the motor functions. Well, okay, I've moved my camera back. Now, unfortunately, this is the first time this has happened to me in about, well, since I've been doing videos. But it's always something that I've been very nervous about the whole time. I recorded an hour's worth of me putting all of those parts onto the main build here, and I demonstrated all the functions of this set. And after the fact, realized my camera was not recording. Now, thankfully, I had a second camera set up, but it's the first time I've used it, and my lighting wasn't good, so I'm not going to be entirely proud of this particular video. So I'm going to re-record the power functions here, some of which I captured on the other camera, so I'm going to maybe jump between the two. Oh, so disappointed. So what I'll do quickly for this, and I have to stand up for this actually because the set is so big now. I'm going to get my chair out of the way. I'll quickly show again what I did. Most of it is on this side, just in case my other camera didn't pick it up. So all of those assemblies that I did before all just went on the side here. So we've got a walkway going into this driver's cab. We have a ladder going up with an access hole through here to get up to this gearbox. Everything else was just kind of flavor. We had some lights up at the top here, around the bucket, some more lights, and then just some side panels, probably right on the bottom there. Yep, some panels in there. And that was about it. So not a lot of extra detail that went into this. Most of it's the power functions I want to show off. And to do that, I'll put it back in this orientation. I've got the truck that we built, oh, here it is, in the first video that goes with this set. I'll put it here to receive the aggregate. The main function of this thing is the actual bucket wheel turning and the aggregate falling into the truck. So I'll quickly show that. So our bucket's turning, our conveyors are going, and I'll just as an example here, I'll throw some aggregate into the bucket. Some of this stuff will fall out. I'm going to go ahead and put a lot of it in here. Some of the bigger pieces because they go through better. Oh, sometimes it needs a bit of a nudge. The motor's a bit strained. Where did that piece go? I dropped the piece. Just in case, while it's turning, I'll get everything on the conveyor. There it goes, fell through. Just pick this up and kind of show that. You can see it coming through the conveyor there. Now it's dropping onto the bottom conveyor. And it'll soon get into our truck. I'll move the truck over a little bit. Here we go. First one's going to drop. And that's it. That's really awesome. I like it. And let me get this, get the truck out of the way here because I've already knocked that over once. Of course, I didn't record it because my camera wasn't on. There's a knob at the back here, which I showed earlier on in the build in previous videos. This turns this bottom conveyor 180 degrees. Now there's a gearbox at the bottom here. If I switch this, all it does is lock this into a limited range of motion. So if I wanted to, just to get out of the way, I could move it toward the back here and just lock it so that it doesn't move around when I'm lifting this around. Now, on the upper conveyor, I'm going to be a little careful when I pick that up. On the upper conveyor, there's some baffles in here. And that's because, let me get this out of the way. By turning this knob, you can raise and lower these pistons. So when you bring it all the way to the bottom, which takes a little while here, so that's as far down as the bucket wheel will go, and you see how steep that is. And the reason for the baffles on the inside conveyor is so that it helps push the fake aggregate up into the hopper. Now, the other function, there's two other functions that this gearbox will do. One of the settings in the gearbox is for the bucket to move, and then this will move side to side. Probably the best way to show that is to point this more toward the camera. Turn that on. Now this takes a while. I'll just let it run. The weight of the set and the tightness of some of the parts, it definitely, the motor struggles to move this around. Now the last function, which works a little bit better, is the actual, there's a drive function. There we go. This moves a bit quicker, so the entire assembly can crawl on the tracks forward and backward. You can really hear things grinding away. So that's it. That's the main power functions of this set. Well, because of my little problem with not hitting record on my video, this video is probably going to be a little bit shorter because I had to do this a second time and I honestly can't remember everything I said the first time. I do want to say though how much I'm very impressed with this set, and I believe I mentioned in one of the early videos that you can't actually buy this set from the Lego company anymore because it's a discontinued set. I have this habit of buying sets and not building them for 5 or 6 years, so this is a very old set that I just got around to building. Now, if you were trying to build this yourself with parts you might have, some of the more unique parts like these ring elements that are in here, like that one right there, I don't know if that's a standard part in other sets, but if you happen to have some Technic parts kicking around, you want to build something similar to this, you could probably do it. I believe the instructions, even though the set's not available, the instructions should be available on the Lego Company website. There could be aftermarket sellers, like independent sellers that have this set for sale. I mentioned before, though, the battery box and the motor are an old version. They don't make these particular sets or these particular pieces anymore. There's updated versions which are slightly different dimensions, so they wouldn't fit exactly where these ones do. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this series of videos. Quite an awesome set, nice display piece. Really love this handle up top, gives it a good way of moving it around. This will probably stay on display for quite some time just due to its size, and honestly taking this apart is going to be a bit of a nightmare because of all the pins. So I'm not in any rush to take this apart. Thanks so much for watching. I'll have a new build for next week.